So why do you think Jacob Cowing was the right person to fill the Dorian Singer role rather than pick somebody else?
Yeah, well, Jacob can play all over the field. Jacob has the ability to be savvy and creative in the slot, but he's got the top end speed and the route running play on the outside too. And that's something that we were looking for this next season. Obviously we threw the ball pretty well last year, but we were looking for a guy that could take the top off and allow us to be even more explosive. And Jacob's going to give us that ability to do that on the outside.
So when the season ended, what were your expectations for how your group would look like?
Yeah, I mean, with the landscape of college football, you never know what it's going to look like the next year. And so, what you just do each year is you trust the process of the offense and what we got going on. And then, as we get into spring ball and fall camp, you figure out who wants to play what position. And we've done that a lot this spring. We've moved a lot of guys around to kind of see what they're best at. And certain guys, you look at them, you think because of body type they have to play a certain position, but then you put them at another one and they flourish at it. So that's what we do. We just try to figure out who's best at what spot, and then we plug them and see what they can do.
And how have you seen Kevin Green fit in that role that Jacob Cowing had last season?
Yeah. So Kevin is extremely smart, extremely talented, and extremely crafty. And so that was kind of the same thing that we saw with Jacob. And so, Kevin's done a good job. He needs to keep working at it, but a good job of getting his body right to be able to play a 13-game college football season. And so that was the challenge to him. And as he continues to work to that, he's going to be a big factor for this offense.
When you talked to Jacob, you talked about adding weight and getting stronger.
Yeah.
What have you seen out of him this spring with that English program?
Yeah, he's done it all. I mean, he's done a fantastic job of taking care of his body. He's put on, I don't know exactly how much, but he put on some good weight. But the biggest thing outside of the weight is just body maintenance. Spending time in the training room with Kevin. I think our training staff as well as our strength staff is fantastic. And so, every morning he's in there doing some type of prehab, so he doesn't get into a spot where, we're going to ask him to do a lot. We're going to ask him to be on that field a lot. And so him being out there and taking care of his body allows him to be the best at all those reps.
And part of that, I think, Jed, and to, trying to get him involved in the return game and get him out there and get those touches. Having that ability to do that, how much is it going to help him in terms of stand on?
Yeah, it's going to, best case scenario, he doesn't come off the field, whether it's punt return, kickoff return, and then obviously receiver, we want our best player to be on the field at all times. And so if he can continue to take care of his body the way that he has, we'll get the best out of him.
How much of the one-on-one drills help the competition between the receivers and the corners?
I mean, football is all competition. You can do, all the drills you want. You can do, we can meet, we meet a lot. We can do all the meetings that we want. But that on-field application and going against corners like Sicario and Ephesians that have incredible length, and then corners like Yates, who are a stronger body and a more physical presence out there, is great for us. So anytime we get to go against these guys, I've loved having Coach Jay Rich here because he also brings another level of competitiveness to it. He's out there and we can compete together and the players feed off of it. And so just going against those guys every day is going to help us be what we need to be.
Are you surprised at how fast Riley and Hyatt seem to have started? It looked, or maybe I'm not accurate, but it looks like they're.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm surprised by it. When we evaluate these guys' film, as we're going through the recruiting process, I've known Malachi since he was in 8th grade, and so I know what his talent level is. And so, what I told Malachi even before spring ball started, I said, hey, bro, if you learn this offense, you'll be able to play. There's no question about the talent. It's my job to make sure the technique is right and to know the plays, but I don't coach that natural talent. So I knew what it was when it coming in. Same thing with Devin. We finally got him a big play. He showed up a lot early on and then just a little quiet the past couple of days. But today he showed up and made a couple of really nice plays. And so the talent level is there. It's just them learning the technique. That's all.
And those two in particular, are they on the what kind of path are they on between Cowing and maybe a guy like Kevin Green?
Yeah, I would say the same. I think those guys are ready to play as true freshmen. Kevin Green was ready to play as a true freshman last year. It's just he happened to be playing against Jacob Cowing, in the rotation. And so, these guys are talented enough to play as freshmen. What they have to do is learn the offense and be detailed in every single thing they do. That's the beauty of what we've been able to do as far as recruiting with receivers is we brought in a ton of talent. And so You go from a guy like, I think T-Mac's probably the best example of it, right? You bring in T-Mac with this tremendous amount of talent. Why he was so successful early is because how smart he is, and so the more Malachi, Devin, Kevin Green, AJ, Rex, all those guys, Chris Hunter, the more that they spend time learning the game, they're all talented. Jackson Holman, they're all talented enough to play right now.
I know you don't want to take T-Mac and Cowing off the field very much, but do you foresee maybe a bigger rotation at wide receiver than you had last season?
Yeah, I do. And the biggest thing, and these guys know that it's no secret to our receivers, is they have to prove that I can afford to have T-Mac and Jacob off the field. They got to be out there and they got to be right and they got to make plays. Because if not, I'm gonna keep the best guys in the field. We always tell the guys every day the best guys in play. So if Malachi Riley shows that he's talented enough to play, I have no problem doing it. He just got to prove it.
All right, that's